Stop, I hate when you do that. Welcome back to Everything Whiskey. I'm Callum.
And I'm Sam.
And today we're reviewing the Wee Beastie.
Alrighty, so Ardbeg Wee Beastie. Now this is their newest rendition to their normal line. It's 5 years old. This is just the same as the 10, I believe, mash bill wise. This is permanent lineup. There's not much really to say different in regards to like the process. Like it's Ardbeg, it's 47.4%, which is a knock higher than the 10 anyway, which I believe is 46. So not much, but just a little bit. 5 years, I believe, will make it a touch more sharp and spiky, yeah. But I don't think there'll be too much unexpected from this. You know, if you're used to Ardbeg 10, I don't think this is going to be a huge jump. It's a 5 year difference, so I'm sure they'll do something, but in regards to, it's not a different whiskey, is what we're saying. It's not, you know, a different mash bill, it's not, you know. But I do have to say, I like the branding. I like that they've gone with, like, Ardbeg, they're very good with branding anyway. Like, their black, you know, the sheep one, and the drum. There's, like, they do really cool marketing, branding and stuff. But even for, like, something that's permanently on their lineup, you know, adding to their, what they send out permanently, they're normally a lot more understated. I like the red accents and the kind of like spooky Halloweeny kind of stuff they were doing, like the ads. I like it. I don't know why, but for some reason I was looking at it like it was a kind of an exclusive thing that was going to run out. Like,
well, I mean, it was exclusive, wasn't it? To start with.
I thought it was just, or I don't think it was exclusive, but I think there was some issues with stock. I think they did such a good job of marketing that it went out of stock in lots of places really quickly, and there was distribution issues, like delays and stuff. So certain places got it, and reviews went out, and other places like Australia didn't get them until like a month later. But now, after the initial stock, they went out, but now they're well and truly in stock from what I can see. But I don't think I doubt they're still having issues with this far in, like Ardbeg being as big as they are. Yeah. If it's a permanent, you know, if it's permanently in their lineup, they've probably got it down pat by now. But yeah, I don't know. I was just like, oh, you know, I really want to get this before it runs out. But it's just like it's a 5 year, so it's not expensive, and it's permanently in their lineup, so I don't know what I was worried about, but for some reason.
What did it cost? $80 or something?
It's 85 from Nick's.
I wish we had the 10. I'm not gonna lie, so we can compare. Because this is just going off memory. It's very
Ardbeggy.
It smells similar, but you can, as we said before, it's gonna have those spiky notes. You can smell that it smells has those spikes to it.
Fresher.
Yeah.
Like it smells
like green grass kind of freshness.
It smells younger, definitely.
But you can still get those like rich notes. It's like
it's so pale.
I'm pretty sure all Ardbeg looks like
all Ardbeg is, yeah. Like I don't think that this really looks particularly different to the Ardbeg 10. I think from memory it's just as pale. Like it's not any darker than this, to be honest. Non-chill filtered. They have, I'm assuming, no dye, just because it is pale. But also because I trust that Ardbeg is just got a little bit more integrity, but I could be wrong. Yeah, this was I believe they stated to be their peatiest one, so I think this kind of has the highest ppm, P parts per million. Yeah, I might be completely...
What, they've ever released?
Apparently, yeah. I'll do a quick...
I wouldn't have said that.
Let me read this. Let's hop into notes.
Yeah, it just has those classic Ardbeg notes.
I feel like it's a bit sweeter smelling than the original.
I mean, that's probably where the freshness comes in that we said before.
Yeah, maybe. That's kind of surprising though. I feel like sweetness I usually link with, you know, rounded edges and development, but it smells like there's been some simple syrup added kind of thing. It smells pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Definitely peaty.
Bit of dark fruits, caramel.
Yeah. There's that freshness that is kind of like piney, like almost like a touch of gin. Like, I don't know how to describe it. Bit of hay fresh hay.
The nose is so nice for a cheap Islay. It's really nice.
Oh, I think this is like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to like say it's better than the 10, but it depends on the pricing in your area. But like, this is a really good pickup for the price. Like, even in Australia, 85 is pretty damn good for an Islay whiskey. They're just expensive here. So 85 is good.
I reckon we need to buy another bottle of the 10 and then compare them.
We normally have the 10 in all the time.
I think I have the 10 at home, I just didn't bring it here.
But we normally have... I almost always have one, but we've been so bourbon oriented lately that we just haven't been buying many scotches.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this off the bat just is something that is really good value, both because it's interesting, and often interesting means expensive, but also just because it's good, you know, like it's Ardbeg, they know what they're doing. But
to me, this is a very Lagavulin-esque nose.
It's a bit more Lagavulin-y, yeah.
Maybe like a Lag 16 or something like that. The more, which is weird because the Lag 16 is more developed and rich. But this nose smells developed.
Yeah, it doesn't smell young. Like, there's those kind of piney notes that like tend towards a younger whiskey, but it doesn't smell young. It smells developed. Like, 5 years is not nothing. Like, by the way, like, if you're new to whiskey and you're jumping in on this episode and you're thinking like the 5 is super, super young because you used to see 12s around and stuff, like, yes, 5 is on the younger side for Scotland, but you go to America and stuff, like, bourbons don't get much older than, you know, 5 years for them, for like the most part. Like, there's a lot of 10s and stuff, but I feel like the majority are around 4, 5, 6 for, you know, middle of the road bourbons. It's just the climate in Scotland is a bit more forgiving, so they can last longer. But it still clearly does something. It's still 5 years is a decent amount of development.
Quite an oily whiskey as well.
Yeah, it's got
pretty thick legs on it. I'm gonna jump into taste.
Oh yeah.
It's a lot younger.
And the taste, it shows it's age a bit more. But again, doesn't taste like, ooh, yuck, you know, that's too young. It's still totally enjoyable.
It's enjoyable, but there's not, like, on the nose you can pull out all these different flavors, and it's a shame because on the nose you can pull out a lot of complexities, lots of different flavors, but on the taste, it's it's kind of like, I don't know, like it tastes as if you were to cool it down. Like, there's not that many flavors in it.
Yeah, it's kind of,
I don't know how to really.
It's like it's been boiled and then let cool down again, and it's kind of lost its development a bit. It's the sweetness is like a simple sweetness. It's like sugar instead of sweet apples, or, you know, like an actual sweet thing, a note. It's got some generic sweetness.
And the peat really stands out.
The peat does stand out. It's pretty spiky. But I do enjoy this whiskey. I think the 10 I'd prefer, but not by a huge amount. Like, if I had been drinking the 10 for a while and I was like, kind of don't. I think I'm going to skip the 10 this time, but I want an Islay. I even want an Ardbeg. And I saw this. It's a big enough difference and still enjoyable enough to be totally worth going back and forth between the 10.
I think that'd be a good video idea.
I'd like to do...
I want to get all the base Ardbeg, by the Corey Becken, the Anoa, the 10, the Wee Beastie,
the Ardbeg Wee Beastie,
all of them, and just do like a big episode of tasting and comparing them.
Whiskey Tribe just did a recently, past couple of weeks, did a really good Ardbeg video. They did some like blind tasting and did their, you know, and labelled them 1 to 10, or however many there were, 6 or so. So go check that out if you're interested in that, because those guys are, you know.
I wonder how this would be with some water, actually. I reckon with a bit of water, this might get rid of the sharpiness and the spikiness, and might open it up a bit more to bring out those notes that you can smell. So, you want to get the water going?
Oh no, I didn't bring the dropper.
Because I forgot. Get over yourself. So I'm just going to... So I'm only going to add a few little drops in here. Just because I don't want to overpower it. water it down too much. I was
probably going to add a little bit more.
On the nose, it's kind of the same as it was before, but I'm more interested in the taste. So,
Is it good?
it like brings down the sharpness, and it kind of draws out a bit more flavour in the whiskey.
It's spicier though.
How much water did you put in there?
A bit more than you. What water in whiskey can do is really separate the oils and stuff, so that a lot of the time the strong oily whiskies will have a decent amount of the flavour, the oils itself, pushed to the surface, and the water will go below in it. So the first sip you get after doing it will be pretty intense, and then everything after will be a bit more diluted and subdued. So it can help you kind of just get a different experience out of the same whiskey.
For me, I mean, this is going off memory again, but it's kind of more similar vibe to the 10.
Yeah. Still a bit more simplified, but
simplified, but there's not that spikiness that catches you off guard because you don't really expect it.
Yeah,
coming from an Ardbeg.
I agree. Yeah, I don't know. I'm glad they brought this out. There's not much really like to say about this one. It's not so far disconnected from the 10 that you're gonna go, what the hell is this? But it's also not, so similar that you're gonna say, oh, why didn't I just buy the 10? Like, it's a good spot. It's interesting because often, especially big names like Ardbeg, won't kind of release age statement young whiskies. Like, there's committee releases and non-age statement releases, and they won't label it, and they might well have young whiskey in it. But it's pretty rare for big companies to come out with an age statement release of a young, age.
Yeah.
So, but I do think it's interesting, the same way that I feel like more distilleries should come out with their new make. They should bottle their new make for their most popular, basic lineups, like their Model 12 single malt should have its own release of new make, just so people can see. Not because people are going to enjoy the new make more, because they won't. They most likely won't. But it's more just for the whiskey nerds like us to be able to see how much impact the barrel has. Like, this is what the whiskey tastes like, just the grain, no barrel impact, and this is what it tastes like after 12 years. So you can really separate what's the mash bill flavouring, what's coming from the barrel. It's just for interest, and I feel like the same reason for why you would want the 5.
Yeah.
Because it's interesting to see what the difference is. What happens at 5, what happens at 10, Alrighty, thank you very much for watching this episode of Everything Whiskey. We hope you liked it. If you did, leave us a like. If you want to see future episodes from us, sub. And yeah, see you in the next one. Cheers!